These actors had us fooled with their spot-on accents and iconic American characters. Some stars make it big in Hollywood without ever disguising their non-American heritage. Christoph Waltz continues to play characters that hail from Germany and Austria. Arnold Schwarzenegger's accent is so thick that not even his biceps can compare with it. These stars have carved out a niche for themselves in Hollywood so that they don't need to conform to roles. The role conforms to them. But some actors genuinely surprise us when we find out they weren't born and raised in the United States. Pulling off a proper American accent is half the battle, and shying away from TV interviews also has a lot to do with it. But a lot of times the characters are so iconically American that the actor becomes synonymous with the performance, tricking us into believing that they were American all along. After all, isn't that what great performances is supposed to do? So it's no mistake that many of these actors are working at the top of their class. Here are 8 actors you didn't know weren't American. Number 8. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves has a diverse background which includes English, Native Hawaiian, Chinese, and Portuguese ancestry. Though Reeves was born on September 2, 1964, in Beirut, Lebanon, he is actually a Canadian citizen via naturalization. Keanu spent much of his childhood living in various parts of the world, including Lebanon, Hawaii, New York City, and even Sydney, Australia. In 1971, when Reeves was 8 years old, he moved with his mother and stepfather to Toronto, Canada, where he spent most of his adolescence. After being expelled from 4 high schools in just 5 years, Reeves ultimately decided to drop out of school and pursue a career in acting. Of course, the risky decision eventually paid off. And Reeves has probably played more characters that have gone on to save the world more than any other actor. Reeves is entitled to British citizenship through his mother, who is from Essex, England, but he continues to retain his Canadian citizenship while holding an American green card. Number 7. Margot Robbie. Most American audiences first got the glimpse at Margot Robbie when she starred alongside Leonardo DiCaprio in 2013's The Wolf of Wall Street. Robbie portrayed real-life Naomi LaPaglia in the film, and she absolutely nailed a Bay Ridge, Brooklyn accent. Despite claiming that she found the intonation absolutely grating to listen to, even though she was just 23 years old at the time, Robbie ended up stealing many scenes away from co-stars DiCaprio and Jonah Hill, leaving many of us wondering why we hadn't seen the actress before. Despite often playing American characters since Wolf, Robbie was actually a successful TV star in Australia before making the move to Hollywood. She was born in Dalby, Queensland, and grew up on the Gold Coast of Australia before starring in the popular American series Neighbours. Robbie appeared in Suicide Squad earlier this year, where she continued to display her impressive voice work with her portrayal of the deranged supervillain Harley Quinn. Number 6. Michael J. Fox. Marty McFly may be one of the most American characters to ever grace the silver screen. He shreds on guitar, whips around town on his skateboard, knows how to throw a solid punch, and his trademark wardrobe almost exclusively consists of red, white, and blue. Despite being the descendant of a family of working-class Irish immigrants, Marty McFly is played by Michael J. Fox, who just so happens to hail from Canadian. Fox was born on June 9, 1961, in Edmonton, Canada. He lived in different towns across the country throughout his youth before relocating to Los Angeles at the age of 18 to pursue a career in acting, where he registered in the Screen Actors Guild. Fox found that there was already an actor registered under the name Michael Fox. After being diagnosed with early-onset Parkinson's disease in 1991, Fox had become a premier advocate for Parkinson's research and development. He holds dual citizenship in Canada and the United States and currently resides in Manhattan, New York. Number 5. Charlize Theron. Though she doesn't have a discernible accent, the first language that Charlize Theron learned to speak was actually Afrikaans, which is one of the 11 official languages of South Africa. Theron was born in Benoni, South Africa, and grew up on a farm outside of Johannesburg. At the age of 16, Theron won a modeling contract and moved with her mother to Italy and eventually New York City. While pursuing a career as a professional dancer, Theron suffered knee injuries and ultimately decided to fly to Los Angeles to become an actress. Since the beginning of her career in Hollywood, Theron has actively protested against being cast as mere eye candy, and today she often portrays rugged and forbidding characters. Her dramatic transformation and performance as real-life murderer Aileen Wuornos earned Theron an Academy Award for Best Actress in 2003, and in just the last 2 years alone, Theron has made an appearance to 5 feature films, including Mad Max: Fury Road and The Huntsman: Winter's War. Theron obtained her dual US-South African citizenship in 2007. Number 4. Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis was born Milena Markovna Kunis in Soviet Ukraine on August 14, 1983. Kunis lived with her parents and brother in Chernivtsi, Ukraine before moving to Los Angeles when she was 7. Despite coming from a family that was financially stable, Kunis's parents decided to relocate to the States as they experienced anti-Semitism in the Soviet Union, and they did not think their children would have a bright future there. Following the culture shock and not being able to speak a word of English after arriving, Kunis was eventually cast as Jackie Burkhart on the hit sitcom That 70s Show, despite being only 14 years of age at the time. 10 years later, she starred in her breakthrough film Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and she has been acting in Hollywood steadily ever since. Kunis continues to voice Meg Griffin on Family Guy, and she starred in Bad Moms alongside Kristen Bell and Kathryn Hahn earlier this year. Number 3. Charlie Hunnam. On the FX hit series Sons of Anarchy, actor Charlie Hunnam played Jax Teller, a leading member of an outlaw motorcycle club in Central California. The actor's slicked back blonde hair, scruffy beard, and gang tattoos made Hunnam look like a true California hoodlum, where in fact the actor was born and raised in England. Hunnam has continued to use an American accent in a number of his films, including Pacific Rim and Crimson Peak. Though Hunnam may pull off an impressive American accent, not even his English upbringing could help him produce a convincing Cockney accent for his role in Green Street, and many critics have called Hunnam's attempt one of the worst accents in the movie history. Admittedly, a Cockney accent is almost one of the hardest to pull off, and sounds like gibberish to most people anyway. Hunnam will return to his roots in the next year's King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, where the actor will portray the famed British monarch of Guy Ritchie's latest film. Number 2. Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman was born Natalie Hirschleg in Jerusalem, Israel, June 9, 1981. She was born to an Israeli father and American mother. And even though Portman relocated to the East Coast at the age of 3, she continues to hold dual American-Israeli citizenship. Portman has said that although she loves the United States, she continues to feel more at home in Jerusalem. For her directorial debut, Portman even adapted the Hebrew novel A Tale of Love and Darkness, which is the autobiography of the famous Israel author Amos Oz. After marrying Benjamin Millepied, a French dance choreographer who worked with Portman on Black Swan, the actress who expressed interest in relocating to Paris has become a French citizen. However, Portman continues to live and work out of Los Angeles. Portman most recently portrayed the First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy in Jackie, which was released earlier this month and is expected to earn the actress her 3rd Academy Award nomination. Number 1. Ryan Gosling. Just like Rachel McAdams, his Notebook co-star and former girlfriend mentioned above, Ryan Gosling is yet another member of the Canadian invasion. Gosling was born on November 12, 1980 in London, Ontario, Canada, which just so happens to be the exact same town McAdams was born in 2 years earlier. After beating out 17,000 children during an open audition in Montreal, Gosling became a member of the all-new Mickey Mouse Club at the age of 12. For 6 months, Gosling lived with fellow Mouseketeer Justin Timberlake and his mother in Orlando, Florida, where they filmed the series. As a child, Gosling didn't want to develop a strong Canadian accent, so he spent time mimicking Marlon Brando. While hosting SNL, fellow Canadian Mike Myers helped Gosling own his natural accent by pronouncing about a boot. While having him embrace his Canadian heritage, which obviously includes guzzling Molsons and clubbing baby seals, he recently paired up with the actress Emma Stone once again for the musical La La Land, which is out this month. So who's your favorite non-American actor? Let us know in the comments.
Ryan Gosling just asked me, where should I look? And I said, just look at me. I waited my whole life to say that to you. Just look at me, Ryan.
You're my lighthouse.